Video number 3. This is the third video, days 10 to 13 of my Japan trip. There are 2 more videos preceding this one, so go and watch them first, because otherwise, well, it will make sense, but you won't be watching in order and that isn't right. So go and watch the other 2 first. So on Wednesday morning, Izzy and I had a really early start to get the bullet train from Yokohama to Hiroshima, which took 4 hours. When we got there, we had a nice little, nice little story to tell. Basically, we knew that the Sheraton was close to the station, but there are 2 exits to the station. So we step out of the station and we're looking around and we can't see it, so we just get into a taxi and it's like, well, it won't take long, it's close. And we got into this taxi and we're like, can we go to the Sheraton? And he looks at us like, what? Are you crazy? And we're like, yeah, can we go to the Sheraton? He's like, they didn't speak English. They kept pointing to like our legs and being like, take your, like, walk. They're basically like, walk. We were just like, So, and anyway, he was like, okay, Sheraton. So we went to the Sheraton. It took like 5 minutes because we'd come out the other exit, and we got to the Sheraton and it was so close to the station. Like, we could see the back of the station from the hotel. We were like, that's embarrassing. So we pulled up at the hotel and, we paid the however much yen it was to drive no distance whatsoever. Later that evening, we're having dinner. We're like sitting in the cafe place, and then we're looking out the window and we can see the platform that we came in on and the other exit. We just came out the wrong exit, because there was like an east exit or a west exit or something. We came out the east exit or whatever, and we can see the other exit, and we're sitting there like, oh god, that's embarrassing. We are A, stupid, and B, lazy. So anyway, that was just a nice little thing that happened when we arrived in Hiroshima. We planned on going to the Peace Park in the afternoon, which is why we got such an early train, so we'd have time to do things in the afternoon. And we got to our hotel and we just looked at each other and went, we'll just go tomorrow. So we slept all afternoon and we watched Johnny English and we didn't do anything. We didn't step foot outside our hotel. So yeah, we are very lazy people. But anyway, that was all we did that day. We got the train and slept. So yeah. On Thursday, we finally made it out of our room and we went to the Hiroshima Peace Park in the morning. It was actually super interesting. We went around all the displays and stuff, which was really interesting, if not so much taken. Like, you're walking around, you can't really comprehend the magnitude of this event. It's just crazy. The whole place is very sort of solemn. We also saw the A-bomb dome, which is really interesting, and it's sort of like a symbol of the event because it's still standing today. And that was really interesting as well. So after we had a drink at the cafe, we then took the boat to Majima Island. I'd never heard of this island before, and it was my aunt that recommended it to us, and I'm actually so glad we went. It was just a really nice place. It was like this adorable island that had like hills and, everything was, stunning and really photogenic. And we saw the Atori Gate, as well as, there are deer, like wild deer, all over this island. And on the map we were given, it says they like to eat paper and cloth, so, keep it away from them. So we're looking at the Atori Gate, and there's this deer that comes up, and it's just going in everyone's backs, and everyone's like, oh my god. Then it goes up to this person's child in, like, a pushchair, and you're like, oh my god, it's gonna eat the child. Like, obviously not, but it was quite amusing. And then the deer just stole this woman's map and just ate it. It was the funniest thing. Everyone is taking pictures. The woman herself is taking pictures. It's the funniest thing. So this is a deer eating some paper with the Atori Gate. We also went to the Itsukushima Shrine, as well as the 5-storied pagoda. Everything was just super photogenic, and it was just a really nice environment. There was a whole street of like tiny souvenir shops, so I went and bought some presents there as well. And we had okonomiyaki for lunch, which is basically, there was like other things added to it as well, but it's essentially just an omelette on a load of noodles, which was heaven. It was gigantic and I just couldn't finish the whole lot, but it was so good. And you can top it with different things like cheese or oysters. I had cheese. But you can top it with different things, and it's so nice. Like, had I been hungry enough, I definitely would have eaten the whole thing. It was really nice. That was a recommendation by Izzy, and definitely a good one. We then did what we're best at. We went back to the hotel and we slept, but in fairness, we did have a very early morning the next day. On a Friday, we checked out the Sheraton and we took the bullet train to Kyoto, where we had an afternoon tour. We visited the Heian Jingu Shrine and Gardens first. Went to the Kiyomizu Temple as well, which were both really stunning. Like the Heian Jingu Shrine, you turn up and there's all these sort of giant red buildings, and then there's this tiny door next to one of them, and it just opens up into this huge garden. It was incredible, so that was really fun. We also went to a Buddhist temple, and inside were 1,000 statues, 1,000 life-size statues of the Thunder God. And you weren't allowed to take pictures or videos inside, otherwise our tour guide, in so many words, said you would get an hour-long lecture from a monk and they wouldn't have time to wait for us, so it wasn't worth it. We had a lot of time to kill between the end of our tour and our train back to Yokohama, so we had a lot of time to wander around Kyoto station, and we sat at McDonald's for like half an hour. So after another 2 hours on the bullet train, and after getting on the wrong train almost twice after that, we got home very late. So Saturday was my last day in Japan, and the last 2 weeks went so quickly, it was crazy. But we ummed and ahed on this morning because me and Izzy were really tired after our 3 days of moderate exercise. We ummed and ahed about whether we were going to climb 1 or 2 stages of Mount Fuji, because last year my cousin's friend went out with them and they climbed Mount Fuji with the YCAC, and we could have done the same except that the climb was on the 14th, so it was actually yesterday, so I wasn't in Japan. So we'd sort of come up with the idea that we'd taken upon ourselves to go and climb 1 or 2 stages of it instead, so it wouldn't have been as arduous. But at 12 o'clock we decided that we would give it a go, and it took 3.5 hours to drive there because the traffic was awful, and we ended up getting pretty lost. So we went to this visitor centre, and we were just like, how do we get to station 5, because we wanted to drive to station 5 and then climb to station 6 or station 7. So we're like, can we drive to station 5, can you give us a map? And they said, oh, there's 11 days in the year that you can't drive up to station 5, and of course the day that we're there just happens to be one of those 11 out of 365. So we sort of thought about what we were going to do. There was a bat cave and some lakes that we'd go and see, or there was Fuji Q, which is the theme park there. But we ended up sort of driving around aimlessly for a little bit. We came to Lake Saiko, probably Saiko, Lake Saiko, and we stayed there for like half an hour. So we spent like 4 hours driving there, stayed there for half an hour and came home, but it was still really nice. We spent so long looking for Mount Fuji. We were literally at Fuji and we couldn't see the mountains. The clouds just moved for like 5 minutes and you could see Mount Fuji and then moved back again. So we did get to see Mount Fuji for a very brief time. And yeah, so it took like another 4 hours to get home, which was another 4-hour car journey. And we went to the YCAC on my last night. It's all I really wanted to do. And some of the people at the YCAC, they have like, not really band nights, but they just jam there and stuff. So my uncle had organised this for me. On my behalf, he had organised this sort of jamming session, and I had such cold feet about it. But then we got there and it was actually really fun, and we got up and we played some stuff and it was really good, and I didn't want to leave then because I was in my comfort zone and I could have done it for hours on end. But we went back and it was 11 o'clock when we got home because I assumed that we probably wouldn't end up going to Mount Fuji. So I left all my packing for the last day, but it was 11 PM and I hadn't started, but fortunately I stayed up all night because my flight was at 6, and if I stayed up all night I'd just get back onto UK time as quickly as possible. So I was packing very late into the evening, and yeah, that was the end of my Japan trip. I can't believe how quickly it went, honestly. It was just 2 very, very quick weeks, and I had really such a good time. Honestly, I do just want to go back now already. If tomorrow is results day, if everything goes badly, I'll just be on the first plane back up to Japan because it was just so much nicer being there. And I felt like ignorance is bliss. While I was out there, I was so far away from anything real, like exams and uni and stuff. Like, I didn't have to think about it when I was there, whereas now everything's back. Now I'm back and everything is sort of real, and I feel a little bit sick. So yeah, I had a really, really good time, and this concludes all 3 of my Japan vlogs. I really wish I had done daily vlogs, but it just did not work out in terms of filming and uploading and stuff, so that's a bit of a bum. So thanks for watching. If you've made it through all 3 of these videos, I'll see you soon for another video. Thank you for watching.